Hey everyone, welcome to Anime Chess, where we're going to analyze someone playing Fire Emblem as if it's a chess match. Now you might ask, what's the point? It's just a video game. And well, for one, I think it can be educational. I think some people might find it interesting to get better at Fire Emblem. If they didn't, series like Waifu and Fire Emblem Pitfalls wouldn't have anyone watching them. There's one small thing about Waifu and Pitfalls though, and that's that I usually record footage for these videos. So sometimes when I look back at them, I feel like they're a little artificial. I'm setting them up to show what I want to teach. But I think there's value in showing raw footage of other people playing with all the errors they make in the wild. And for two, honestly, because it's entertaining to watch people flail about, it's fun to watch the chaos unfold. That said, the point of this isn't necessarily to roast the players I'm featuring here. If that happens, you'll know they asked for it, because everyone I'm going to feature on this series volunteered. I asked some of my friends, I asked my Patreons, thanks to all of you by the way, and after this video, I'll ask you to submit gameplay for me to analyze, but I'm only doing it with the original creator's permission. With all that out of the way, let me introduce our first protagonist. This is SpeedyHawk. He has his own YouTube channel where he sometimes does, among other things, Iron Man playthroughs. I featured him on this channel before. Speedy right now is about to start the dreaded Phantom Ship of Sacred Stones, and I think it's good to mention that this Iron Man run is the first time he played FE8 in 5 years. So Speedy is what I would call semi-blind. He's going into a difficult map with fog of war and reinforcements, and I'll take that into account. Playing a map like this, with and without foresight, is a huge difference, and it changes what is and is not a good play, but it doesn't eliminate the possibility of a bad play altogether, as you're about to find out. So let's get into it. Now, before we get into, him moving his units, I think it's important to consider that battle preparations itself is a turn, and a very important one at that. So you could call it turn 0 if you want. So look at Speedy's deployment. We don't really have to care about where units are deployed because it's Phantom Ship. People can't really move about on turn 1 anyway, other than the flyers. But what has he done to prepare for Phantom Ship without knowing exactly what he's up against? Well, a couple of good things that I think it's good to mention. Like, I'm not just going to mention the bad plays, but also the good things. So one thing he's done, this guy, he's deployed Dusel. Dusel is very, very strong, and going along with Seth. He's lost Gilliam, Garcia, and Franz, by the way, so he has less options than most people do. But he does have Dusel, so that's good. What else has he got? He has got Colm here. Colm was an interesting choice, because on one hand, it's like, okay, you deploy a unit in the Fog of War map that can see further in fog. That's a good idea, generally, but units like Colm also make the map harder because they're fragile and there's a lot of flying enemies like moguls and gargoyles, which I don't know if he knows exactly what is coming, but you can probably expect that a thief can be a liability defensively, right? And in addition, there's a couple of other characters like that are not super durable. Arthur's pretty fragile. Natasha, obviously very fragile. Lute right here, probably going to be a target for enemies, although she has 1-2 range just like Arthur, so they'll be fine in that regard. Joshua doesn't counter ranged enemies, so more than half his team, like 5 units, are pretty vulnerable in enemy phase. And I think this is Tana. Tana is also a little fragile, so he doesn't have that many tanks compared to how many units he has to defend, and that might cause some trouble. He's done a couple other things, but I'll let it play out for a little bit. I'm turning off the audio. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because I know that the chapter is going to take a while. The video player says 3 hours, 27 minutes. It's only Phantom Ship that we're watching, which is like 15 minutes max, so it's not going to take that long, but I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Which means we don't get Speedy's audio, but hey, that gives you a reason to watch this original video, right? So let's see what he does. Okay, so here he makes a good play. He uses a torch with Dusel and he sees no enemies. Good call on Speedy to actually bring torches to the map. Some people complain about Fog of War, but then they don't bring means to deal with it. And Speedy's clearly like, no, I want to see what's going on. So I'm gonna use a torch with my Dusel. And he's actually brought one on Tana too, so he's gonna use that as well. So he's got Dusel and Tana. Now, one thing I think he hasn't done, I haven't watched the whole video yet. Oh, he's seen some enemies with Tana now. One thing is that he hasn't used a torch with Colm, which is like the best way to break Fog of War in the GBA games. They increase their own vision exponentially. And now he's doing something interesting. He moved Tana out, and I think he's not happy with her position. So he's bringing Cormac to support with a Pure Water and a Javelin. I don't know what Tana has equipped, actually. I forgot about that. I'll pause it when it gets to the top of the screen here, so we can see what's going on. Everyone else is kind of lining up where I think he might know that there's some planks coming at some point, so he's just vibing there. Okay, so he's ended his turn. So you see this when you torch with Tana, and you're like, well, that's a lot of enemies that I probably don't want to face. You got this these two moguls, and you got a gargoyle. Probably bad news. What he could have done is rescue out with Cormag. I think he might have contemplated that, to like rescue one backwards. But I think you're just putting yourself in a worse position, because then Cormag is weighing himself down with Tana. He might still double depending on his speed. He would have his speed, but these guys have like 1 AS or something. But it would get Tana out of range with the gargoyle. It depends on like how high level his Tana is. There's a chance that if she's like base level, she might die to like mogul, gargoyle. But we know there's no other gargoyles in the fog because they would be revealed by the torch. So I think she'll be fine. We know Cormac used the pure water. It's actually possible that the better play here is to not use the pure water on Cormac to entice the moguls into attacking Cormac. But it depends on what you want. Okay, so she has an Iron Lance, so what he could have done is trade with Tana to make sure that she would have a javelin equipped, and then the moguls would be less likely to target her. You could like keep Cormac with an Iron Lance. And there's some gargoyles. And yeah, they do 7 damage. So I think this Tana has an angelic robe, or she's been trained a lot, because Tana does not have 30 base HP. Okay, so let's see how it goes from here. Okay, so you see this, you're like, oh shit, that's a massive ship of enemies there. How's he gonna deal with that? There's no planks yet, so only Cormac can access the enemies. He's probably gonna pull back Cormag and Tana to make sure that they don't die, because neither of them can really survive on the ship. A lot of the guys on that ship don't move, particularly the Bone Walkers. I know in normal mode they don't move, so they probably don't move in hard mode either. So in that sense, they're more safe than it looks, but if you don't know that, you gotta pull back, you gotta save him. Probably Vault Tana or fly her back to Natasha, get her healed. I don't like this move, what he does with Cormag here, because now he's just taking 6 damage on Cormag. It depends on how you view it, I guess. Depends on what he wants to do with his other units, but this guy could have just been killed on enemy phase. I guess Cormag didn't have much other things to do, but yeah, Tana just flies back. I think this is an okay turn to have Tana use a pure water and then heal her, so that she can fight more moguls later. Assuming this is out of range of the gargoyles at the bottom, because killing those with this team is going to be kind of hard. Oh, he does have a torch on Colm, that's good. I know why he didn't use it turn 1, but you know, that works. That works, that's good. I take it back. And here's like, okay, I can hit one guy with Dusel, and I can probably... what you should consider here is... Okay, so there's only one square where I can attack both these gargoyles from. My units don't double. But what you can do is you hit him, and you rescue drop out with your mounted units. Which... I mean, he's using a second mounted unit right here. Oh, his loot doubles. That changes a lot of things, actually. I don't know how good his units are. I'm used to loot not doubling these. But if she does, then yeah, you can just do this. Let's say your loot doesn't double, or you have like units that don't double in general. What you can do is, for example, Ross can hit them with the hand axe, and you rescue him out. Make sure to canto away a little bit. Make it easier to maneuver around. And just have someone else finish them off. And that way, you can attack like 2 enemy units with 4 different units through rescue dropping. Not sure what's going on here. I think that's a gargoyle with like a little bit of HP left. You can just kill that. There's also a gargoyle on the other boat that's staring Tana in the face. Needs to deal with that somehow. He's not even weakened. Well, he's weakened a little bit. Okay, that's the right play. That's correct. That's completely correct. Kill the gargoyle. Pretty lucky that he has just enough attack to kill him, and that no one missed. But what else are you gonna do? It's actually kind of problematic dealing with these gargoyles slightly out of range in this chapter, because the only bow user at this point you get is like Naomi, who is very weak. Okay, so Cormac can fight that eyeball. It's okay, but now the planks are going to come down, so these monsters are going to start invading the ship starting next turn. So whatever is in the water, like this gargoyle, you're going to have to deal with this while also making sure that the gargoyles don't wreck you. And you can see in the chat, people are warning him about the turn 5 reinforcements. Keep that in mind. That doesn't mean he knows what they are. It just means, you know, all Master Annex said is like, be careful. Okay, so now the planks are down. And some dudes reinforce. Little thing that you might have missed if you didn't pay attention. You see 2 eyeballs in the top left were reinforcing, and then the screen scrolled down a little bit and happened again. So what that means is you can kind of guess that there's going to be something that appeared here as well, because the screen likes to scroll whenever reinforcements spawn. So even if you can't see the reinforcements, you can guess that there's something there. So now you got a gargoyle hanging out in the water, you got some eyeballs coming up there. You don't know if they move. I think they don't initially, and then they start moving at some point. What you can do is like fly Tana towards them, sit in front of them with an Iron Lance, and then kill them on one range while having a pure water. But this guy, if you want to get rid of him on player phase, you're gonna have to kill Lance him with Cormag. What you can do is like fly up to the eyeball with Cormag, kill Lance him, and then get everyone out of range of the gargoyle and kill him off. And put Tana like all the way to the left, so that next turn she can fly up to the eyeballs. You can have Tana equip a javelin in case the eyeballs move, because you don't know if they do move or not. I think you're pretty safe. This is, I guess if you're trying to feed the kill to Tana, this is okay, but Tana can get more XP from just finding the eyeballs on the left. And like, this is so risky, because if you miss that gargoyle, he's going to be alive for a turn. So yeah, just kill Lance the eyeball. Easy. And like everyone else doesn't have much to do. You also got to put people on these planks, and you only have 2 tanks, 3 if you count Ephraim, but he's not really a tank. And an Iron Man using Ephraim to kill a lot of enemies on enemy phase like this in a blind fog map, that's very risky. Ross, not a tank. He's got okay durability, but there's a lot of enemies on that boat. And you saw that, because you had, I think he had vision on it a little bit ago. Okay, so he's doing this. He's killing the gargoyle in 2 hits. First with Tana, and I assume he's gonna... is he gonna kill the eyeball or the gargoyle? Yeah, this is pointless. There's no point to doing this, because now that eyeball just gets a free shot at Tana or Cormac, unless I'm missing something. So like, this gargoyle could have died on enemy phase too. Yeah, and like a little mistake, like you might wonder like, what's the deal with the 1 eyeball? Like, who cares? But these kind of things can escalate in this chapter, because the more these guys build up around your boat, the more restricted your fragile units are. The more Cormac, or the more Colm and Natasha and Arthur and friends have to hide out. Okay, he's putting Seth at the start of the planks. I think a little bit further would have been better. Seth can take the hits. I don't know how bad a Seth is. Maybe he's very defense screwed, I don't know. But if you don't put Seth further in, then like the guys you can see on the screen. Well, let me pause and show it for a second. You can see that these guys, they'll probably reach Seth just fine. I think they have like 5 moves, so they'll reach. Maybe this guy will reach too. That's all fine. These guys will not reach. I know for a fact some of these don't move, but let's say they do move. They can't reach, so they'll just pile up here. And that means you have to deal with them next turn again. So Seth is going to be restricted where he can go. Whereas if you put Seth somewhere else, like let's say you put Seth over here, for example, more enemies could reach him. Now I get it, maybe Speed doesn't know there's like a horse slayer guy on the boat or something that could threaten him. But generally I like to expose Seth to many enemies. It's FE8 after all. Another thing I am noticing is that Natasha didn't do anything. I think that's a mistake. I think Natasha should, in this map, if you don't have Natasha heal someone, she should be using Torch. You can buy Torch staves in this game in Seraphim. Obviously easy to forget if you haven't played this game for 5 years. But this is a great map to level up your staff users. Even if there's no one to heal in range, just use Torch, get free staff XP, get closer to warp, get closer to promotion, you know, get staff XP. Never a good idea to pass that up. Ross, I think the idea is to stand there. If you're gonna put him like in range of the like enemies that could be in the fog, you should equip a javelin like Ephraim's doing. Yeah, that's a good move. Using Ephraim here. Something else you can do with Ross is have him walk off the planks and go in the water. Alright, Seth killing a lot of things coming up. Obviously, Ross can't just walk off the side of the boat, so he has to go from the planks or be dropped by a flyer. But that is only really useful in a couple of positions that you'll probably see later in the video. To block enemy reinforcements or get him in range of eyeballs or something. It's not something I would expect a blind player to do. But if you're watching this video and you're going to play Phantom Ship and Iron Man at some point, you know, that is a strategy you should put in your arsenal if you want to get through this with less deaths. I guess this is a good time to mention while Speedy is running through enemies with Seth and Drusel. The point of these videos is not to say that everyone should always play Fire Emblem in try-hard mode. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to lose units. There's nothing wrong with that. And like Speedy's trying to be entertaining too. So like sometimes he'll take like a risk or whatever that he really didn't need to. Like that's all fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm working off the assumption that we're trying to learn from mistakes here. And if you're not interested in doing that, nothing wrong with it. Just means that, you know, if you do lose units, you only have yourself to blame. I actually don't mind that Seth is using an Iron Sword because you don't have, if you just load his inventory with like, or this is Kyle, whatever. Wait, this is not Seth, it's Kyle. Oh, he's using Kyle instead of Seth. That explains his behavior earlier on then. All right, I just kind of assumed it was Seth because I thought I saw Seth earlier when I was like scrolling through the video real quickly. Okay, so he's not using Seth here. It looks like Kyle's still doing fine though. So he's got a good Kyle going. It was pretty tanky. Okay, so what do we do here? I think it's just like checking the forecast, right? He's gonna see if Cormac can handle this this side of the boat. He's just going straight for the attack. Okay, I think looking into Cormac's options a little bit would have been good. Because, you know, a lot of people can just stand there and take hits, but only 2 of you people can fly. So now Cormac is kind of stuck on a place where someone else could be like, why not just let Ross do that? There are archers on that boat. I would have been tempted to equip a javelin, but you know, whatever, it's fine. Tasha gonna go in. Yeah, she has a torch, she just didn't use it. Okay, I guess he's hoarding it. I don't know what for. I see some eyeballs there. Tana can take those. That eyeball apparently didn't move. Neither did the video player. The video player was like, nah, I'm not moving today. Yeah, I guess you put Arthur there expecting them to move and they didn't move. Okay, so now you know they don't move right now. That's good. That means you can do this with Tana. That's fine. I think if you don't know that the eyeball doesn't move, then, you know, better precautions should have been taken. The video player, calm down. Okay, now you can just... If you want to, you can move Dusel forward, just take on a bunch of enemies on the other ship. Which is good, because if you want to save La Rochelle and Dazla when they pop up, you want to be more forward. Alright, use another torch, that's smart. If you don't know what's coming, just use another torch. You got these for a reason. Alright, and he sees there's only like 4 enemies there. 2 of them promoted, but Dusel can take the hits. He'll be okay. And you can see so far, Ross, Joshua, Arthur haven't done a thing this entire map. I mean, they've had like 1 enemy combined. So usually for new players, it's recommended that if you're having trouble with this map in like a casual playthrough, you just undeploy everyone but Dusel, Ephraim, and Seth. Just have them go to town. Perfectly safe maneuver. If you're a bit more experienced, then training auto units in this map is actually not bad, because the enemies aren't very strong, but they are very numerous, and if they get in your face, it's going to be very annoying. Now, so far you might be thinking, what Mekkah, why are you featuring this video? Because it's really not that bad. Well, what you're about to see. There you go, there's an archer. See, that's another reason you don't want to put Cormac on the planks. They're archers. That archer have very bad AI though. It's kind of run up to you. He was like, yeah, I can move towards an enemy. And there you go. So this should be turn 5, because I think that's the turn that Dazla and La Rochelle pop up. And I think that's the same turn that we get reinforcements from the back. And that's a problem. Now, someone warned him this was going to happen, but he didn't know exactly what was going to happen. So let's see how prepared he is to deal with that little threat. Fortunately, he does have Colm with the torch vision in the back, so he'll be able to see what's going on. Yeah, there, now you can see it. Alright, so this is when we get in trouble. Yep, it's turn 5. Speedy just confirms, okay, it's turn 5. Okay, so this is a clusterfuck. This is a bad situation. This is the meat of the video. This is like, okay, how do we get out of this bad situation? Because if you look at it, there are so many threats on the field, and some of your units can't even one-round KO enemies, so where do you even start? The biggest threat, obviously, this guy, the boss. He's very scary, and you can't kill him. He's too fast, he's too bulky, and he's 1 to range. None of your units should attack him this turn, probably. Unless your loot literally has like 20-something speed to double him or something, he's a threat. But the problem is, this guy's range is probably the entire boat over here. Like, this is probably roughly his range, give or take a couple squares. So, all these fragile units that we got here need to evacuate. They need to get off the boat, but they're being stopped by these enemies over here. This is a little fancy. I'm just trying to be fancy with my drawing program, don't mind me. It's like being a teacher again. So, yeah. That's the big sandwich that this map puts you through. Suddenly there's reinforcements from the back where you're not dealing with the front, which is why I would advocate for units like Dusel to just get like on this square, for example, and then someone like Seth, he didn't deploy him, which I guess in retrospect is a mistake. If you think this map is going to be hard, just deploy Seth. I guess maybe if he's untrained, he might be worse than Kyle, but generally he's not. So you want Dusel, Seth, and like one other unit in these squares on this map as soon as possible. If you have that, most of the enemies in the ship that move will be gone by the time this guy pops up. You literally have 5 turns to do it. I guess more like a couple turns less because you don't get planks initially. But you can flyer drop people here initially if you want to. This all assumes that you know what's coming, by the way. This is for you guys. SpeedyHawk, he doesn't have this knowledge, so how could he have known? But even when you're playing blindly, it is good to maybe consider those moves, depending on how risky they are. Like if you have Dusel, Dusel's not going to die to anything. So you can afford to like, try putting him here at least and see what goes wrong. And, you know, there's probably not much of a risk to it, but it gives you more options in case you get reinforcements from the back or in case you have to push forward, both of which are things Fire Emblem maps do frequently. So that is something that you can and or should do. But, you know, we didn't, and now we're in this situation. So that my job is not to go like, oh, you should have done this 3 turns ago, you wouldn't be in this spot. I mean, that is part of the job, but part of this is also like, how do we deal with the situation? How do we get our fragile units out now that they're on the boats and this boss is in range? Well, one thing you can do in Iron Man's is you can theoretically sacrifice your units. You can go, okay, this situation is so bad that I'm going to sacrifice some units to stay alive. You can put a unit at low HP, someone with not much HP like Colm, put in range of the boss. The boss will probably go for them, kind of use them like a disposable phantom and be like, okay, this guy's dead, whatever. It is what it is, but I'm going to make sure that my more important units are safe. I'll make sure that Tana and Cormac and Ephraim are safe. That is one way to go about it. I know how good it is because it means you are not hitting the boss on enemy phase. Ideally, what you would like is someone to hit the boss. So something that I would like to do, that I would consider here, something you can do in an Iron Man in this kind of a sticky situation is you can hold off the threats on the choke points by not killing. Let me show what I mean here. So we wipe this out. We know that our line, if we want to have the choke point, the lines are going to be like here and here because the enemies are there and you're probably not getting much further. What you can do is you can put units here that are not super tanky, but tanky enough to take like 2 hits-ish. Someone like Ross, for example, is in a good position for this. Joshua is in an okay position for this. And I wouldn't use Cormac here, but Kyle probably works. Units like that, you put them around these lines to hold them off, and you can potentially like either give them 1 range or actually trade away their weapons so that they don't kill enemies. Now, what's the point of that? Well, the point is, you're not in a hurry to kill these enemies. You just don't want to die to them. So you just make sure that they can't come through. What that allows you to do is move backwards with Dusel, for example. You put him in range of the boss, and then you fight him on enemy phase. Doesn't work very great here because the boss has so many targets that he can probably reach. You might have to do something creative. Another option you have to bring a unit to safety, you have 2 flyers. Tana is like somewhere up here, and Cormac is right here. He can grab Colm, he can grab Natasha, and they can fly away. And then you probably won't have any problems keeping them safe. The problem is you have more fragile units than flyers. I think what I would do in this situation, what I probably end up doing, is I would probably try to kill one of the gargoyles with loot to minimize their threat range. You probably should know that there's another gargoyle right here because Fire Emblem likes symmetry. So you saw that this pattern of reinforcements pop up. You see 2 are here, 1 is here. There's probably 1 here too. So you can kill one of these gargoyles with loot, knowing that the boss probably won't attack her if you leave a juicier target in range. And then what you can do is you can kind of make a little bit of a gambit. You can put someone here. I think this is roughly the square where you could put someone, and that would bait away one of the gargoyles into attacking there. But that person wouldn't be in range of any other enemies, probably, assuming there's no one else up here that's threatening you. But that kind of negates that enemy for a turn. And next turn, you can swoop in and kill that enemy as he's on the boat. I'm not saying that any of these plans are guaranteed successes. This is just my thoughts as I'm watching this for the first time. But that's something that I would consider. Let's see how Speedy navigates this. Speedy is going to go through his plans right here. Yeah, this boss is super bulky. And Cormac is on low HP. You also, it's an Iron Man run, so you want to keep Ephraim safe. That's your most important mission. If Ephraim dies, it's game over. Like, sure, it's important to keep someone like Cormac or Kyle safe because you've been training them all along. You want it to be good. You want Tana to be good. But if the choice is between them and Ephraim, then you'll want Ephraim to be the one who survives. Like, yeah, that kill, completely worthless. Don't bother. Don't bother killing these guys. Maybe the archers here. Yeah, don't do this. This is a mistake. This is bad. Because now Cormac is a range of an archer that, yeah, you can kill with Kyle. But now you're just giving up the choke point. Now you're giving up the choke point to kill 2 enemies. Yeah, sure, you can kill them, but there's more enemies behind them. Like, you're gaining a little bit of ground, but you're going nowhere. Also, that boss is, like, still in range of, like, Archer and Natasha. Like, I'm not sure what they're gonna do. Like, there's gonna be the enemy phase after this, you know that, right? There's gonna be blood if you keep them like this. I guess if you don't care about the units, like if you haven't trained Arthur all that much, and you're okay with him dying because he's like base level, then it's okay. I don't know what level his Arthur is. Okay, loot seems pretty important though, but she's promoted, so she's gotta stay alive. The reason I suggested like killing an enemy with her, you know, she's just going in range of a gargoyle. This is just a mess, bro. He's playing pretty fast though. Okay, so that's the position he ended up with. Let's see how that goes. Tana just kind of vibing here. Yeah, you could use Tana and Cormac to keep people safe, but instead they are in range of many a threat. So how many deaths are we going to see this enemy phase? Because first of all, this is completely exposed, and then there's also people coming in from the back. Like the next player phase is going to be even more antagonizing, and you're going to have less units to deal with the problems. Let's see how this goes. So here's Kyle dodging a 7 that could probably put him in like lethal attack range from something. Maybe not yet, but like he's killing enemies, so he can suffer from success here. Like Dussel's tanking, but we didn't need Dussel to be here. We could have used Dussel in the back to fight some gargoyles in enemy phase. Now Kyle is in big trouble. He got hit by a fetid claw for 11, broke his iron sword, and yeah, it's looking worse and worse. And this is why you can unequip your units, so that they don't, you know, suffer like this. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't unequip the units in the back because they want to kill the gargoyles from the back. Like they're mean. But these guys, you know, they're friendly. Like that Iron Sword guy, if he's up against Kyle hitting him for 0 damage every turn, that's a dub for you. But now he's dead, and now this guy came out, and he's attacking you. Oh wow, I was like, did he not double a zombie? But never mind. Okay, he's dead. He's totally dying. Yep, that's a dead Kyle. And that's extra bad because Kyle was holding the choke points. So now they get to attack whoever is behind Kyle. So that's his 3rd Nightcrest user down. He already killed Gilliam and Franz. I do love his graveyard. It's very adorable. SpeedyHawk generally makes good designs for his channel. But why was Ford killed here? Why wasn't Ford killed off? That's what I want to know. Okay, so he's dead. There's no more enemies there. The Rochelle and Duzla are fine for a couple turns. Like they're okay. Oh, there's Arthur exposed to at least 2, maybe 3 attacks. Possibly the boss is involved. Okay, this is actually good. This is what you want. Gargoyles attacking Ross. Most of these don't have 2 range. That's good, but the boss does. Yep, that's dead. Arthur. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I would have gotten through that situation, even with knowledge. If you gave me that player phase, if you gave me that save file, and you gave me that situation he was in last player phase, I don't know if I could have gotten out without deaths. Like, I think something could have been improved. Let me just put it that way. Okay, so more eyes moving. Yeah, this is perfect. Okay, so you see that these eyeballs, this is a little detail you can maybe notice. So you see these three eyeballs over here that are gonna chill over here. I think you can kind of see that they pop out of the fog from here, because you see them coming out of nowhere. Whereas if they came from here, you would have seen them move. So you know that these are the eyeballs that came from the corner. All right, you know that they came from there. So you know that the guys that were formerly immobile now move. So that might tip you off. But credit to Speedy, he hasn't played the map in 5 years, and he's probably got like something else on his mind right now that might be more important than little AI details like that. But this is for you to notice, like, hey, these guys that were formerly immobile didn't move. Good, important thing to note mentally. You're looking for patterns. There's Ross. Ross is totally fine. He's got good enough speed and luck to avoid things. Oop, Lar Shell's in danger. It's not a reason you gotta... Ooh, there goes Right. There goes Comb. There goes his Fog of War Vision. Yep, that's a drawback of deploying Comb, because he can die here. Fortunately, there's not much treasure for Comb to get after this map, so it's not the biggest loss. Which is why I was like using him as an example of someone you can sacrifice for this. So there goes Comb. In the graveyard he goes. He'll get a pretty gravestone later, I'm sure. There goes Comb. And you see that there, the fog dissipates. This is another reason why rushing this map is so important, getting to this this right-hand boat, or like at least conquer the middle boat, because that's why this guy. I just wanted to point out this guy. This is why this white. I think he started out here, and then he moved over here because he could sack Lar Shell with his javelin. He was formerly immobile too, but now he moves because he has like a juicy target in range. And Dazla can only kill one enemy per player phase, so she's going to be a bit of trouble. She does have an elixir to keep herself alive, but you don't want her to use that. But again, I think he has bigger problems on his mind. So there's a heal on La Rochelle. Dazla kills the Gargoyle, fortunately, so La Rochelle will probably live another turn. Alright, so what are the options now? Well, first of all, take that ugly square away. Second of all, what do you do here? What is the play here? Yes, so it's like, you could briefly see a reinforcement spawn from the stairway as well. So your troubles are not over. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gargoyles in range and 2 eyeballs over here. These are the biggest threats because they fly. These guys don't really have to care too much as long as they're not able to walk across the planks and kill your other units. Or they can, as long as they hit like units that can sort of tank. So with Kyle dead, that's, in this case, that's like Cormac and Joshua, I guess. But some of these units you also want to attack with, so that's a bit of a pickle. I know Ross weakens some of these enemies. Oh, it's a tough situation, not gonna lie. If Joshua has a Lance Reaver, he can probably nearly or completely cleanly kill gargoyles. Natasha, if you wanted to save her, you probably have to rescue her off the ship. Either that or just accept the fact that she's gonna die, probably. It's probably gonna end up being the latter. Ross can stay where he is. Ephraim should be in a spot where enemies are not tempted to like attack him, but he can potentially choke the point over here, where Dusel is. Dusel should go back, and in fact, if you clear out this gargoyle, Dusel can Silver Axe the boss, for example, if he has a Silver Axe he joins with on him. Because the boss, he can kill like anyone. He can kill anyone he wants to. He's in a super central position. It's like a bishop in the center of the board. He can go anywhere he wants to. He doesn't have to. It's like more like a queen in the center of the board, honestly. Even with the 1-2 range, it's more like a queen and a knight combined, you know? We're doing anime chess here. So like Dusel plus Ross might kill the boss, but he's also like annoyingly between these two pillars, so only one unit can one range him at a time unless you clear out this other gargoyle over here. You just don't have the manpower to do it. It's very scary. Something else that we should have taken note of that I didn't, but I think I roughly memorized how it went, is you should pay attention to enemy movement order, particularly when the boss moves, because that can help you sometimes save a unit. For example, if you know the boss moves first, you put a really juicy target like Natasha in range, they're going to go for Natasha. But Natasha was going to die to like the rest of the gargoyles anyway. But if the boss goes first and kills Natasha, then the other units might not be able to kill your other units. The other gargoyles might not be able to kill, what's the best next? Probably Joshua if he doesn't have the Lance Reaver, or if someone's on low HP, they'll go for them. Or like Ephraim. They'll have more trouble with that. If the boss moves last, on the other hand, and the gargoyles can kill Natasha, like it just takes 2 gargoyles to kill Natasha, and then some other units is probably going to take some hits from the gargoyles, and then the boss comes in and might get another kill. So in that sense, you should try and pay attention to the movement order. In this case, I think what happens is the boss moved last and killed Colm. He's like last on the death counter, so that's how you can remember it. And then that means that the boss will probably be able to finish someone off at the end of the enemy phase. So I'll keep that in mind. It's a tricky situation. I think what I'd end up doing in the end is probably Ephraim goes here, maybe even discards his weapons, or maybe I wouldn't attack. I think about Pure Water or heal. I don't think he's injured, but if he is, he should heal and just go over here. I think Ephraim here is probably your best play, or like a little further back, just to keep more enemies from flooding on here. If you don't think there's any enemies left here, then you don't have to choke this anymore, I guess. And then you should just kill gargoyles. Just kill as many gargoyles as you can with Ross. Maybe even like go Ross into one with Ephraim. I know this one is weakened, for example. Kill that one off. If loot doubles them, kill another one with her. Also, when an enemy kills a unit of yours, they don't get countered, so that's extra bad. That's also why Colm is like not great in this map in this kind of position, because even if he does counter, he's not very good at it. So that's why it's easier to undeploy units that don't have 1-2 range and good offense and defense. Let's see how he deals with this, right? So yeah, loot does a lot of damage to the boss, but she doesn't die. Excuse my ugly drawings on the screen. Ross has a killer axe. You can use that to like gamble against the boss. This is, I think, a waste of Ross's turn, honestly speaking, because that guy was very weakened. There's probably a way to kill him that's not Ross, and now Ross can't be used against the boss. So he lost that option. Or Dusel can trade for the killer axe now and like, take a pot shot at the boss. That is also something you can do. Dusel, yeah, if Dusel crits, he kill the boss. And if you're in this type of a situation, that might be a good play to go for. But I think Dusel attack the boss into trying to finish him off with like 2 other characters might be the play here. Yeah, there's the silver axe. It's like doesn't even intuit kill the boss because this is just such an annoying death goyle. Like, loot doesn't kill, so you have to, like, javelin chip, but he has a short spear, so yeah, it just escalates. But he goes for it. All right, I don't mind it too much. It's a fine plan to come up with on the spot. When you're streaming and you want to move, like, make moves kind of fast, this is what you end up with, so not everyone agonizes over every move. Okay, so just managed to kill the boss. That's good. Sure, there's still a bunch of gargoyles around that will probably kill Natasha, but you can kind of wall her off. That's actually not bad. Considering the information he has, it's not bad. The question is, do you keep Natasha there? She can probably take hits from the eyeballs, but you do want to start killing those off eventually. I think the bottom left gargoyles, they don't have many great targets right now. They have 6 moves, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can't reach Natasha, so they have to attack one of these 4. And these units, you know, of all the options that they have to attack, these are pretty fine. Like, Loot is the most fragile, and if this guy moves after these guys, that means he's going to be blocking his buddies from attacking Loot, so Loot is actually quite safe if that's the case. So they're forced to go to Dussel or Ross or Ephraim or Cormag. That's pretty good. You don't mind that. So it's actually not looking super terrible. You have to be wary of like them ganging up on a unit like Ephraim, of course, or like someone on lower HP. But other than that, it's not lost yet. This, I wouldn't do this. You're just taking extra attack for no reason here. Because, okay, so imagine you don't do this, right? Then, like, if you don't make this attack, then you're not getting attacked by this guy until enemy phase. And then, yeah, it's gonna do it anyway. Like, I guess I get the idea. It's like, if you crit, you don't take a counterattack. But there's gonna be another guy behind him anyway, right? So what you can do instead, if you want to keep Joshua safe, is just take his weapons away. Trade him to Natasha. It's fine. And then he doesn't counterattack, sure. But it's more important to survive at this point. You could even, like, attack and then trade away his weapons with Natasha. I think that's... actually, maybe that's the better play. You attack this guy, and then if he gets hit, you trade away his weapons and you heal with Natasha. Yeah. In that case, I don't mind the attack too much. If that was his plan, you know, genius. Well played. If someone else needs healing... although I think it also would have been good if Natasha just used a torch instead of healing Joshua, because you want to see what else is going to fly at you. Because if this is all the enemies there are, then he's... doesn't have too much to worry about, but if there's more enemies beyond, like especially gargoyles, then you kind of want to know. Where are you going, Natasha? Yeah, no, that's a dead Natasha. Obviously, he's like, yeah, Natasha's probably gonna die anyway, but I think she looked quite okay where she was, because a gargoyle plus like 1 eye probably doesn't kill her. Oh, we're rescuing with Ephraim. Ooh, yeah, I don't know about that, because now the enemies are gonna see. They don't necessarily see that you're rescuing, but they do check like how much damage they do to you, and now they're gonna potentially double Ephraim. And Tana can't reach. I don't know if the idea was that Tana would rescue drop or not, but that's something you should check. Because if she's not reaching, then Ephraim is stuck with like... If someone... Like, I don't mind the idea of someone rescuing Natasha after using a torch, but if she's using a torch and you rescue her, you don't get the vision anyway. So what is the point of using a torch? I guess to check real quick what's happening and then rescue? I don't know, just keep Natasha here. It's fine. Like, she'll die maybe, but now Ephraim is in danger. That's worse, isn't it? Yeah, don't do that. Like, I know I said I'd like her to use a torch, but I didn't mean doing it there. Like, come on. And then this is a little puzzling too, because this 1 eyeball, like, I get you want to kill enemies, but these eyeballs right now, they have 5 move, right? So how far can they go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can reach Joshua. Well, Joshua's already exposed to 1,000,000 attacks anyway. So if he dies, you know? And then if you're worried about that, why not kill this eyeball instead? Because what can this guy attack? You can attack Lutz or Tana. So just give Tana her javelin, maybe put her up here instead. Let me see, let's say Tana is around here, for example. If they want to attack her with the javelin, you can go right ahead. If you're worried about them moving down, like you can attack this eyeball up close with a javelin if you want to. It'll weaken Tana a bit. And if you're out of range of these gargoyles, just don't be in range of them. Then Tana might become a juicier target for these eyeballs. Probably not, but the competition is like Loot, who has also decent resistance. So maybe that could work to distract them from Joshua. Because enemies like going for units that are on low HP, even if their defense if their res is high, or their defense in case of physical enemies. So that could be a good distraction. That's another thing to consider. Okay, so Natasha goes there, or she goes there. Natasha goes to. Well, Natasha cannot die this turn. It's impossible for Natasha to die. That's the only unit that's well protected. Yeah, it does. And here's Joshua just using a killing edge against a bunch of enemies. So if someone's gonna suffer from success, it's probably him. Like, he shouldn't have a weapon equipped this turn. He doesn't need one. I mean, eventually he wants one, but, you know, now he's just gonna, like, fight a bunch of enemies for content, for sure. He's doing quite well for himself. And that's the killing edge broken. That's Probably a blessing. Oh, there goes a guy for loots. She doubles, right? Yeah, his loot is really good. Really fragile still, but like really fast. Here goes a dude, goes for Ross for some reason. Gets an unlucky hit. That is unfortunate. But might help work out because now the enemies were more enticing to go, or like more enticed to go for Ross. So that's good. Yeah, that's honestly helpful because the chance of Ross dying to these gargoyles is pretty low, but now they're distracted from Ephraim. That is honestly very lucky that Ross got hit there, I think. That is super interesting. Alright, now they go for Tana. Okay, the distraction worked out because Tana doesn't counter. I guess. Because otherwise they would have probably gone for Lutz or Joshua if Joshua was in range. Like, that eyeball went for him anyway. Oh, there goes for La Rochelle. I think La Rochelle still lives the Javelin, so she should be fine as long as there's no other enemies in range. Joshua dodges. Would have gone down to 1 HP. Yeah, he's... he got a little bit lucky so far. Please live. Yeah, he's dead. Okay, yeah. So if Joshua just had been disarmed, he wouldn't have faced weapon triangles advantage against some of the lances. He wouldn't have killed as many enemies. Would have been less chances for him to die. And yeah, you don't kill the enemies on the right side of the boat, but whatever. You don't, you know, the fact that you don't have like 2-range against the gargoyles or against the moguls doesn't matter because they are gonna 2-range you anyway. Like, can go up close. Yeah, big deal. Oh, there's Ephraim being attacked. That's not good. Doesn't get doubled by moguls because they're slow as hell, but the gargoyle, oh, goes for Ross. Again, another enemy distracted from Ephraim. Gets hit again. Oh, there goes La Rochelle. Never mind, she's not safe. I guess that guy also had a steel lance, so that's La Rochelle gone. Glitter Valkyrie in shambles right now. So there goes La Rochelle. I think that also stops you from recruiting Dazla, so that's another blow to his army. Either that Mogul put her in kill range, or he had a 1-range weapon that killed her. Oh, Dazla goes for the Fog of War BM kill. Okay, so now we're in this spot with, don't forget, Ephraim is holding Natasha. So now what? Well, priority number 1, it's still keep Ephraim safe. Get Natasha out of there. Like, Natasha shouldn't have been rescued in the first place, but now that she is, you can't keep Natasha on Ephraim. There's not many archers to be seen, if not any, so Cormac makes a good choke holder. You want to kill the remaining gargoyles or the moguls. Probably kill all of one piece. Honestly, Dusel in Cormac's spot or here looks pretty good. Kill a gargoyle. Loot kill maybe this gargoyle. Get away from these physical enemies. Yeah, this is still solvable. Just don't blunder Ephraim and we'll be good. Heal Ross with like elixir or something. I'm sure he has one lying around somewhere. Maybe use Loot to heal him. But Loot probably wants to attack instead. Just don't leave Ross at low HP. Maybe take drop from Ephraim so he preserves his turret. Something among those lines. But the gargoyle's gotta go. Yeah, I would probably preserve Loot's turn over Ross's. Because Ross doesn't double gargoyles. Tana can probably kill the upper eyeball. She's not very good against gargoyles. I would not bother with that. But this is quite okay. This is kind of one of those turns where you just want to not make your moves one at a time, but just figure out, okay, who's going to kill what. You can like, this especially is like not a very good first move, because what you've done here is you just tell us, okay, I can kill one guy with this, I'm going to go for this one. And instead what you should be doing is thinking, okay, which of my units is killing which of these enemies? Because this was like the most certain kill you had. Like, this is going to happen no matter what. But let's say somewhere along the way, it's like, oh, I might need this javelin to hit this gargoyle, otherwise I'm not going to get a kill. And then what can happen is if you miss that one, your whole plan changes. You want it to have this move available. That's how I think about it anyway. Another funny thing you can do here with Ephraim, by the way, you can get rid of Natasha and still attack with him or heal with him in one move. By, for example, you can move him one down. You give Natasha to Dusel, and then you attack, or then you heal, or do something else. That way, you get rid of the burden without having to use his turn. So, give, very underrated command in GBA Fire Emblem. Give is quite good. You can even pass a unit around like that multiple times if you want to. Yeah, I think he's looking for elixir. This is another unfortunate thing. I don't know if he knew that he had an elixir here, but since Ross had 5 items, he had to commit to a give before doing a take. So if you don't know that you have an elixir in the convoy, you make this move, you're locked in. You can't do anything else anymore. So what you should do if you want to check your convoy in this situation is you take a unit that has less than 5 items in your inventory and day check Ephraim. And I know that some units had their weapon broken in this map, so someone like, let's say Kyle was alive, right? He broke his iron sword or something. Or Joshua, he broke his killing edge. Well, if they were alive, you know, they could check for him. But now he's committed, so if he didn't have elixir there, Ross would be forced to like use a fallen or something. But he used elixir, that's good. Where are you going, Ephraim? What are you doing? That's the most important thing. You gotta figure out what Ephraim's gonna do. He's moving everyone else first, like, I get it. Oh yeah, that's a bad miss. So this is why you don't want to make the Dusel move first, because now you did this, and this is not a sure thing. So now what's gonna happen is this javelin. Okay, it hits fortunately, but he's still holding Natasha. Like, he had the chance to pass off Natasha to, say, Cormag. Like, yeah, it sucks that Cormag's now weighed down, but, you know, now Ephraim is still holding Natasha. Like, I get that the guy had to die it somehow, but could have had Tana do that. What's Tana gonna do this turn instead? Fight an eyeball? Took the point? If Tana does nothing, then she shouldn't even do this. Yeah, like, Tana did nothing this turn. Tana could have taken Natasha, and I don't know if she would have been safe. But now Ephraim is he's in danger. And now Tana's gonna take some attacks. Another case where not having a weapon equipped would have saved her a potential death. This is also quite bad. Ross can now suffer from success, because the steel sword dude is up in his face. Moguls are gonna like targeting Ross down now because he's low on HP and he doesn't counter. Okay. Tana is killing some weakened enemies. These enemies wouldn't have died if they weren't weakened before. Like I said, killing here, not very good. There's also a problem. This is why Tana should use a pure water somewhere along the way to survive easier. And Tana did nothing this turn, so it would have been very easy to do that. Alright, nice dodge, never punished. Except we're going to see some more. I mean, I'm pretending like this is all bad, but if he had a pure water, they probably would have gone for Ephraim or something. So this is honestly a blessing in disguise in a way. Alright, another dodge. Tana's too good. And we're going to see another one. Yep, another dodge, never punished. And a javelin. Nope. Another never punished. Tana clutch. And that's a death. Okay. The game teased it, but decided to kill off Tana anyway. We're like, no. You are dying, actually. No mercy for you. Alright, now they're going for Ross. And another never punished dodge. And another one. Alright, Ross is now at much higher health than he would have been. Ross really should have been dead this turn, but you know what? We take that. We extend the pain, it's fine. Alright, Daza doing quite well for himself. Daza on his own is doing better than Speedy right now. So this is quintessential Phantom Ship, right? You're sitting there with a bunch of units that don't counter, and then you have like 20,000 eyeballs around you. Eyeballs die easily, but anyone who attacks them generally takes a bit of a hit. Then they all gang up on you. But you can kill most of these, and again, if everyone wants to attack here, the give command is his friend. Or he wants to heal there, same thing. Just do it. So now what? What do you do? I mean, in this case, you could literally just hunker down. All these units left over have one to range except for Natasha, so Natasha isn't saddleback. So you give Natasha to someone else. You pass around the pure water if you have it. You probably don't have unlimited pure water at this point. You can't buy them yet. Yeah, you cannot buy them yet. So you give your most vulnerable units pure waters, and you make sure that they have one to range equipped. And then the Moguls are forced to suicide, or at least take a hit if they're up against, like, I don't know, someone rescuing Natasha. And then you're probably fine. Or you can go in the offensive, you can kill them on player phase. You have 4-ish units you can kill them. But it's probably better to, like, finish them on an enemy phase. Yeah, so now he's just using the silver axe to kill an eyeball when I think a javelin would have done the job. Not a big fan. Not a big fan. Yeah, see, even loot 1 rounds these, and she had some resistance. Probably kill the Bone Walker. Cormac should refresh his pure water if he hasn't done it already. We're taking Natasha now. Okay, we're doing take drops. Actually dropping Natasha now with Cormac. Interesting. Oh, we're flying off. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. I get that he really likes Natasha. that's my understanding from this. He really likes Natasha. But at least if you're going to fly off there, take a pure water as well somehow. I know he has pure water somewhere. Because I think Cormac is the one who used it initially. Because, you know, you can try and fly away from most of these enemies, but there's still 2 that can attack you. And now you're holding Natasha. He might actually survive this because there's only 2 that can reach him there, unless there's more that spawn over here. But now your healer is unavailable. Like, Natasha's not even terrible to have here, because I don't think she, depending on her level, she probably doesn't even die to the eyeballs. Depends on, like, what her res is. Let's see. Attack. Okay, Ephraim should probably heal. It's Ephraim. Like, because you're killing this guy, but I get what he's going for. It takes another fire thing off of Cormac. Okay, I don't hate this. It's not optimal, but I don't hate this overall. Okay, that's a waste of elixir. That's okay. Just use the Vuln there. Also, Ephraim is going to suffer from success here because that eyeball was forced to attack him at 1 range. And there's still 5 around them. Yeah, keep Ephraim safe, my guy. Yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. Let's hear his reaction to this part.
I hope he could dodge. For some reason, I thought they would not aim for him.
Well, that's why you give him a javelin.
Elise!
Okay, well, it's over, guys. It's been real. At least we get a mulligan, right? Everybody's brought back to life.
And so the Iron Man.
This chapter was hell.
Yeah, it quite was. It quite was. And that's how Ephraim dies. So you can dissuade the enemies from attacking someone you don't want to get attacked here. Just give him a javelin. I mean, Ross is right here. You could have traded one to the top here. Just give Ross the Iron Axe. Give Ephraim the javelin. And then Ephraim probably isn't getting attacked because his HP was too high. And if he's not high enough, give him a javelin and have him Vuln. You know, he didn't have to kill that Bone Walker. You could kill that with someone else. If the problem is the Moguls. Or give him the Pure Water. He's the most important unit to keep alive. So, there you go. Now, Speedy went on to play this chapter the normal way by not Iron Manning it, which is always fun. Just relax, take off some time from the challenge, fight normally. But yeah, that is anime chess for you. So, I think I pointed out the most major issues with Speedy's choices in this chapter. If you want to, you know, save deaths instead of making content, you can take your time. Think of some better moves. Use 1-2 range in these kind of situations where you don't want Ephraim to die. Don't move Natasha here and then rescue her. Choke these points a little bit more assertively because it feels aggressive to go like on this line. It feels like you're exposing units to a lot of firepower, and you are, but the consequences of not doing so is you get sandwiched between this and the boss. And even if you don't know that these guys are coming, you might know that it's good to kill enemies early here. A lot of these lessons probably apply more to people who have played the game before but want to get better at this map rather than someone who's going in blind. I think as far as like playing blind goes, Speedy's choices at the beginning especially were reasonable, like using torches, bringing Colm, using a torch with him. Should probably also use the torch on Natasha more. He might have forgotten that it was an option. Using Pure Water, Cormac was a good move, but I think I would have liked some more Pure Waters used later along the way. And disarm your units when they're getting overwhelmed. Don't let them suffer from success. And it's okay to not kill enemies on enemy phase because they don't matter. You don't need to kill enemies that are just in a choke point. What you need to focus on is killing the enemies around here, the flying enemies, the gargoyles, and especially the boss. You did a good job of killing the boss though. That was good. But yeah, that is anime chess for you. I hope this was educational and or enjoyable to watch and or listen to. So let me know if you want more. If you want me to chess analyze another video, let me know which. I think links get blocked on YouTube automatically, but if you're a Patreon, I have a Patreon thread where you can submit these. You can also post them somewhere on Discord. I'll probably think about making a channel where you can submit these. I do need permission from the makers though. So if you're the maker of the video, just upload it on YouTube and drop the link and I'll be able to check it out. The best submissions are vanilla gameplay, like the Sacred Stones over here. Not too modified, preferably, because that way it would be relatable to people watching. So vanilla gameplay. I prefer the chapter that's like reasonably difficult, where you had some trouble, maybe some deaths in an Iron Man is ideal, because those are the best ones you can learn on. Like, no one's going to learn anything from me watching someone play Eliwood mode chapter 11, you know, or Lin mode. So keep that in mind. And yeah, let me know if it's okay to roast you or not, to be mean or not. That way I'll know what kind of jokes to make. Like, for example, with Speedy, I didn't make fun of his short hair, even though I could have. Yeah, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.